Hey, let's talk about what you want in your business in 2026. Hello, welcome to this week's podcast. It's going to be a little different today. I felt like just doing completely off the cuff. Let's have a chat about what you want out of your business in 2026. So, as you have a listen to this, let me know what you think of today's podcast. I would love to hear. I am back in my bees office. I have been away on holiday over the last month in the fabulous Canada, doing lots of snow skiing because, like, that's my thing. And my family are a family of skiers. Hopefully, you've been catching my podcasts. I did still have those going out each week for you. So, I've done a little bit over the last few weeks in our podcast about reflecting back on 2025 and thinking about your vision and your goals for 2026. But this is something that's really, really important. And I want to talk about it today because I hear so many women when I have conversations about, well, what are your goals for your direct selling business? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know what my goals are, right? Well, it's really hard to work towards a goal, to know what actions you should be taking to build a successful and profitable business, right? If you don't actually set goals, if you don't know what your goals are, right? So this is something I really want to emphasize to you today, that if you haven't done this yet, if you have not reflected back on 2025 and what you liked and what you didn't and what you found easy and what you found hard and what worked and what didn't and all those things, and started to look at your goals for 2026, that's something that I want you to do now. Okay, walk away from this podcast, come back and re-listen, whatever it takes, right, to work out what your goals are. So that way you can actually move forward in your business. It helps you with then recognizing your wins that you have each week, because there will be wins every single week. And it really helps you to feel like you're making progress in your business. It helps you to feel more successful. When we feel more successful, we feel more confident. And so that's what I really want you to be looking at and working on in the coming weeks and the coming months and this year ahead. Now, of course, I'm hoping that you have actually subscribed to this podcast so you never miss an episode. Why? Because every week I'm coming to you with tips and tricks and strategies and ideas that are going to help you with growing that more successful and profitable direct selling business. And of course, there's my free Facebook group as well, which hopefully you're hanging out inside there too, because there's a daily dose of tips and motivation going on in there. And then, of course, I know some of my Beehive program members are also subscribed and watching my podcast episodes as well, which is fantastic. And for those of you who maybe haven't heard about it yet, or you've heard but you're still sitting on the fence and you're wondering what it's all about, my Beehive program, membership program, is for women in the direct selling industry who are really ready to take their business to the next level. So maybe this is you sitting here, you've done some reflecting on how 2025 went, you've started to think about your goals for 2026, but you've been feeling like you're floundering, you're feeling like you don't know, what the right strategies are. You feel that like things didn't work last year. You're seeing others' successes and you're like, well, how are they managing it? And you feel that need for, to find out what these right strategies are that you should be using for Facebook in 2026. How do you get the sales? How do you attract new followers? How do you get bookings if that's what you're offering? How do you recruit new team members or sign up VIP customers? There's so many of you with so many different companies, and there's all sorts of different options and scenarios with those companies. And so, you're thinking, well, how do I do it? You want the support. You need that motivation, support, someone you can go to, a group you can work with. Well, that's what my Beehive membership program is all about. And you will get that next level support in my program. So let's dive back into looking back at 2025 and why is that important? And because growth, and the reason a few reasons why it's important is because because reflecting back, it helps you to learn from what you've already done, right? So whether things were working or not working, obviously what you want to be doing is more of the things that did work and less of the things that didn't work, right? But if you don't go back and look at what worked and what didn't, you're not going to know, right? Big favorite phrase of mine, or yeah, I suppose you call it a phrase, is if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? We actually had one of our first Beehive group coaching session for this year was this week, and I swear I said that like half a dozen times, right? Because in all honesty, if you keep doing the same things, right, you're going to keep getting the same results. Another one of those phrases I love. It's around that same sort of thing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If you keep doing what you were doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. Now, if those results were great, fantastic. Keep doing those things. If those results were not great, then obviously you need to rethink what you're doing. You need to come and learn what you should be doing. What are the right strategies? How are you going to attract more followers? How are you going to attract more customers, more hosts, more team members, more VIP customers, right? And it's all about like building your personal brand and building that know, like, and trust factor. And if you don't know how to do that, then that's something that you need to come and learn how to do, right? And because when we reflect back, and we look at what worked, that gives us confidence as well, right? And we know that when we're feeling more confident, we do have more success, because when you feel more confident, you're more likely to put yourself out there. Okay. Another big thing as we move into 2026 is remembering that consistency is really, really key, right? So when, as just mentioned about building know, like, and trust, okay, one of those things is showing up consistently for your followers. That actually helps you in building know, like, and trust, right? But it's really important to not just be showing up consistently just for the sake of it. You got to be sharing the right kind of content, right? The content that's going to resonate, the content that is going to think, oh my gosh, that person is the go-to person, for what I want. So, whether you're selling makeup or I don't know, health goodies, home fragrance, jewelry, clothing, skincare, body care. I mean, there's so many different companies out there with so many different products. You want to be known as the go-to person for that product range, right? Those of you who've been in my world for a while have probably heard me talk about being the purple cow in the field of dairy cows. What does that mean? Being the purple cow in a field of dairy cows is about standing out from the crowd, right? Because remember that there are so many other people that sell either the same thing as you or something really similar, or there's online stores that people can go and purchase something very similar to what you offer. So what makes the difference? You make the difference. How you talk about things, what you share, if the content you're sharing is resonating with your followers. Are you building that know, like, and trust? Because it's when people know, like, and trust you that they're going to take those next steps that you want, which is obviously going to be making purchases from you, recommending you to their friends and family, booking events with you if that's what you offer, becoming a VIP customer if that's something you offer, or joining your team. If you're wanting to recruit team members to build your business, then again, that's unlikely to happen if you haven't built know, like, and trust with the person. Okay, so it's really, really important. Okay, so what I want you to sort of stop and pause and think about, if you haven't done this yet, is excuse me, sip of water required, is do that reflection on last year and think about what it is you want in this new year. What does it look like, right? Because if you don't know what your goals are, you're really going to flounder in your business, right? And you could get to halfway through the year and you're like, I haven't achieved any of the things that I wanted to achieve, right? It does take commitment to build a successful and profitable direct selling business. Now, a successful business and profitable, that's going to look different for everybody. For some of you, successful is going to be about the amount of sales you do each month. That's maybe your goal is $1,000 in sales a month, so that you're earning a couple of $100 extra a month, right? Maybe that's you. Maybe you are wanting to be earning, like selling $10,000 worth of product every month, and you want a team of 50 people in your downline, right? Because that's going to bring you in thousands of dollars in income every month, right? Maybe that's you. So everybody's going to look different. Everybody's journey, everybody's success, what does success look like, is going to be different for everybody, right? But you need to work out what that looks like, right? So that you know what you're working towards, because that is what is going to help you maintain momentum. It's going to help you to be consistent, okay? Because consistency is so important, okay? And so when you have that sort of that clarity around what you want and what you are actually trying to achieve in your direct selling business, that's when you're going to see progress. When you've got that clarity, when you know what you want, and then you take the actions that support those goals, right? That's when you are going to see that extra, see those forward steps in your business, right? Because that's what we want, right? And look, I spent, what was it, 16 years in the direct selling industry, and I built a multi-million-dollar direct business, right? Was that the goal when I started? No, it wasn't, right? So also your goals are likely to change over time. But as you start to make progress and you start to think about, well, what is possible, right? And this also comes with having a look at what others are doing. And I don't want you to compare yourself, but I would, but looking at what others are achieving, use that as inspiration. Use that as motivation as to what is possible, right? Now, you might see someone that's, doing, huge success, achieving all the things, and you might go, oh, wow, but that's not for me. Now, if it really isn't for you, that's fine, right? But if you look at that and you go, I want that too, and I had that moment so many years ago in those early days in my direct selling business. I was seeing these women, up on stage at the conferences and and the meeting gatherings that we had, every few months, and going, that's what I want, right? That's what I want. So what did I do? I worked out, how do I get what they've got, right? What do I need to do? What are the actions? What are the steps? What are the right strategies to get to that level as well, right? And the cool thing was, I got to that level, plus I surpassed a lot of those women. And it was really amazing because, it was still a case of what I saw them doing was really inspiring, right? They inspired me so much because I could see how they were winning. Could see that they were winning, right? And that might be for you, that might not be for you, but only you can answer that. But this is why you kind of need to sit and you need to sort of reflect. How's your business gone so far? What do you want for this year? Okay, is 2026 the year that you step your business up, that you take it to that next level? Is it about earning a company incentive trip? I earned, I think it was 11 company incentive trips over my time in the direct selling industry. Missed out because of COVID on actually going to one of my bucket list ones. Who else here did? For those of you who've earned company incentive trips, had you earned one in the COVID years, and then you didn't get to go. My bucket list destination was Mauritius. I earned it. I achieved it. One of the top achievers for that trip. And then COVID hit, and guess what? Of course, we didn't get to go to Mauritius. It's still on my to-do list. I will share that with you. One day I will go to Mauritius. Anyway, I digress. But if that's, if you want to earn an incentive trip this year, maybe it'll be the first time ever. Maybe it's one that Maybe you've earned them before, but again, you want to go on this year's incentive trip. You got to look at, well, what are the requirements, right? You got to break it down. What are the steps? What are the actions that I need to take? And actually, one of my Beehive program members, she's actually been with me for probably, I know it's over a year, maybe about 18 months, had an amazing 2025, but has also actually just achieved her very first overseas incentive trip, because she put into action the strategies, leaned into the support that is available to her as a Beehive member, and it made a difference. It meant that she's over the line, with actually like 2 weeks to spare on the deadline. She's over the line and she's off on that amazing company incentive trip to Hawaii later this year. And I love that. I love seeing my clients winning. It's just so bloody amazing. But you've got to know what you want, right? This is, again, I'm doubling back to, you've got to know what you want. What are your goals? What is this all about for you? So I don't know. I feel like I've talked for ages. So you know what? I think it's probably about time to wrap up. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope this has got you thinking. Let me know down below, right? I want to encourage you to give yourself permission to sit down, to pause, to think, and look at, what is this all about for you? What is your direct selling business all about for you? And what do you want out of it? Right? And then what are you prepared to do to get to where you want to be? Okay, my lovelies. So, totally off the cuff type one today. I just wanted to do that. That's what I felt like today. If you've loved today's style, do let me know. Maybe I'll do some more off the cuff ones, as opposed to normally. I do write myself a bit of a script, just to make sure I work through all the things I want to talk to you about. But today, I wanted to do something a bit more off the cuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode. If you have, do let me know. Give the podcast a thumbs up. Pop a little comment down below. Share me with your direct selling friends. I do a weekly podcast full of tips and ideas and motivation. So I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching or listening. Depends where you caught this. Catch you soon. Bye.